Uh, I suppose that you were listening very carefully to what John was saying. It was very inspirational. And actually, my point of view is not going to be much different from this. But actually, it wasn't the only reason, but all these things that John was describing, the things which are already here and the things which are looming somewhere on the horizon and will be a very near future to us, a totally different digitalized world. Actually, it was one of the reasons why we are making some changes to our educational system in Poland. So last year, our education system was radically reformed and changed. And it's a long story, but I would like to concentrate on a few aspects of it. And one of them is obviously digitalization and the challenges of the future. So in order not to repeat the things which John has already said, I just want to say that, yes, we are living on the verge of the so-called Revolution 4.0. This is the fourth industrial revolution, meaning that in a moment we will live in a totally digitalized world. And that means that the education for the future needs to prepare young people to acquire new skills, new abilities. And what does it mean in reality? So if we look at the statistics, some experts say that in the next 20, maybe 30, but probably 20 years' time, half of the jobs, as we know them already, they will disappear. Obviously, life does not like any vacuum, so it means that these jobs will be replaced by totally different jobs, but at this time, we don't know even the names of these jobs, and we don't know what exact competences they will need. So that's why, so on the one hand, we know something. We know that technology will be overwhelming and will be everywhere. So one path will be to educate people, bearing in mind that they have to have they have to be highly skilled with high technology and all the things it brings with. There is another group of people, there are some skeptics, and this is the point where I'm not going to follow in the footsteps of John. There are some experts who say that probably very soon a big environmental disaster will happen because of the fact of what we are doing to the planet Earth. So it means that we will live probably in shacks, so we won't need any technology. But either way, there are two pathways, so to say. So one pathway is the one that actually John has already described. And that's why we are reorganizing our educational system. And first of all, we are introducing, last year we introduced programming and coding as a compulsory activity in our primary school, starting from the first grade. So it means that obviously at this stage, pupils are not going to design any programs, but they are going to perform and they are going to be taught simple processes in order to prepare them and to teach them to think in a logical and sequential way. That is going to be a kind of procedural way. So that is going to prepare them to learn STEM subjects such as physics, mathematics, chemistry, which we think are going to be more and more important. At the same time, I know that if you bear in mind that I come from Poland, it may seem strange to you, but I dare say that now we have one of the most liberal, open and democratic educational systems in Europe, because our new educational law states that at least 20% of school activities must be performed, the teacher is responsible for them and must perform them via problem-based solving type of teaching and learning. So it gives a lot of freedom to the teacher. And at the same time, if you take into consideration that for several years so far, we've been training the teachers to use new technology to perform in a totally new environment, maybe not as advanced as John has described. This is the future, but still full of technology. That means that we are really, that our system is really, really open, and teachers' responsibilities is getting greater and greater in this system. So to make the story short, we are putting stress on problem solving, on programming of algorithms. It is all in compliance with national law and safety rules. We put stress on development of social competences. We take into consideration that robotics is getting more and more important. We are putting stress on developing computational thinking and logical and abstract thinking. All that is somehow accompanied with the help from the European Union. As far as technology is concerned, we are using extensively e-twinning program, European Union's program, which is part of Erasmus Plus program. Poland has got the biggest number of schools, teachers and pupils participating in this program in the European Union. And actually, in our national co-curriculum framework, literally, we stated that schools are obliged to use e-twinning as one of the tools. And I think that we are the only European country which has its in the national educational law. But at the same time, the government is developing a nationwide platform, online platform for schools, and providing them with high-speed internet so that all those things that are content-wise or which are enlisted as the competences that teachers have to develop and have to teach the students, it must somehow function in a certain ecosystem. So ecosystem is also being created, so the big online platform and high-speed internet is provided to school at the same time. We are developing e-materials, so actually for some of the subjects already it is possible to carry out the whole pedagogical process without any printing materials. Okay, but that's one of the aspects. So in that respect, actually, I'm referring also to what John has said, because as you can see, we are trying to prepare ourselves for this big unknown which is coming. But at the same time, we are putting stress on social competences and on or soft competences. Why? Because of the fact, as I said, we don't know what the future jobs are going to look like. Obviously, technology will rule the world, and we have to teach our students how to use technology, how to behave in this new reality, digitalized reality. But at the same time, because of the fact that there are many question marks and we don't know exactly how this world will look like, we put stress on social competences, such as ability to work together, ability to communicate on different levels, not only to communicate via foreign languages, but ability to work in a foreign group, ability to solve problems in a creative way in an international group, for example. Because either way, if technology rules the world, or if we live in the shacks because of the environmental disaster or whatever, we will have to learn how to live together. So soft competences and social competences will always be important. And this is the other pathway, which is actually sure, and we know it, that in any circumstances, our pupils and students will need it. That's why we are also using European funds, especially Erasmus Plus program. This is a long story, but I will tell you, because time is running up, I will give you only one example. As I said, half of the jobs as we know them will disappear. New ones will come, but obviously some traditional jobs will stay, like cooking, like carpentry, like bakery or whatever, okay, some traditional jobs. And we are using European funds to send Polish pupils and students abroad for from 3 to up to 6 month apprenticeship in foreign companies, just to see how, what kind of solutions, what kind of technology is used in their profession. For example, Polish pupils and students go to France to have apprenticeship in restaurants, in hotels, or they go to German automobile factories to see what kind of technology is used there. So we also put stress on traditional vocational training, but we introduce some so-called dual elements to it. So it means that this education takes place not only at schools, but also in a workplace, either in the vicinity of the school or via international apprenticeship. Since 2014, which means 4-5 years, we've already been able, with the help of the European funds, to send almost 100,000 Polish pupils and students abroad to serve this kind of apprenticeship. They not only learn what kind of technology and solutions are used in their profession, and as you know, schools really have problems to catch up with all the with all this big pace of advancement. So it's much easier to see in a workplace how the things look like. But first of all, they come back with those soft competences, with ability to communicate, with ability to work together, to solve problems in a creative way with their peers, and so on. And we think that this is traditional schools obviously try to develop such competences as well, but actually this kind of international experience boosts development of such competences. Okay, so I think that I managed to, with the time. So this is more or less, in a nutshell, what we are doing. The story is much broader, but I hope that we can develop it further during the workshop. Thank you.